rock me, mama. Everybody's looking for the next surprise. Skeleton Jack vibe, get you on a pumpkin patch. La la la. Tender lupplings everywhere. Life's no fun without a good scare. Come with us, but we're not mean. In this town of Halloween. This is Halloween. Everybody scream. Can you please make way for a very special guy?
I love that movie.
It's so good.
Performance.
Do you know what movie this is, right?
No.
The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Y'all.
Oh, you were brought up so religious. You didn't. Are we on? Are we?
Oh, we're on.
Or we're rolling?
Ooh. Welcome
Wait,
back.
were you not allowed, Morgan, to like listen to those songs?
I wasn't allowed to listen. I wasn't really allowed to watch. We didn't watch Harry Potter until Bill and I were dating.
Shut up.
What
were you allowed to watch? Just like church
The
things?
Passion of the Christ.
Fuck.
No, actually, I wasn't allowed to watch that either.
I wasn't either. My parents were like, it'll scare you. And I'm like, kind of glad I never watched it.
Before I like to go to the movies by myself in high school. And before I went,
That tracks.
my
Yeah.
dad,
I was thinking that.
yeah, I would go to Carrabba's and then the movies.
Also tracks.
By myself.
Tracks. This is all tracking.
No friends, no love interest.
Morgan
Introvert.
Living for alone time.
Yeah, and my dad would make me look at the Focus on the Family, like Christian-based movie review and decide for myself if it was something appropriate for me to see.
Wow. And based on your answer, you were either won or lost.
Yeah. Halloween movies were no. We didn't really dress up.
Were you allowed to like trick or treat?
No, we did. We did. I dressed up a little later in the game, so probably like late elementary school, but it was for trunk or treat at church.
Yeah.
Trunk or treat.
There's a lot of Christian
That here.
Yeah.
Oh, our neighbors, like my good friend Amber, who lives across the street, they don't celebrate Halloween.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me because I just grew up. Well, I'm Jewish, but like not culturally Jew, not religious.
Yeah.
And we celebrated we celebrated Hanukkah and Passover, and then we also celebrated Christmas and Easter because my dad is Italian and Catholic.
Yeah.
He was Catholic, but it's so crazy to me, like when I hear about like your guys' upbringing and like the shame and I mean, obviously there's a lot of positive stuff there's a lot of positive stuff that comes with religion, just I don't know what's positive, but there's a lot of shame and a lot of weird shit.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends that grew up religious are definitely dealing with it now.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad's a pastor. Bill's dad's a pastor.
Yeah.
Like we're both pastors' kids. And
Yeah.
I do think that I think I had it better than a lot of people who are pastors' kids.
Yeah.
Definitely strict. Definitely there's things that I've had to unpack. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
However, I do think I have benefited more than not.
Yeah.
For
I think
a lot of reasons, whether that's things I'm actually practicing. I mean, yeah, I am a Christian, but whether it's like, I don't always agree with what my parents taught me, but I do think like principle wise, my parents have walked the walk quite a bit. So I've been able to kind of take some of that, but I'm not ashamed.
Don't think
be
that's
ashamed.
like how,
And we love Halloween. So
because you
It's
have
fun.
turned out.
Because it's fun.
I don't want to say normal, but like you don't scream like, whoa, she went off the deep end because she was raised so real, like, and then you're also not like megaphone, like,
right.
where are you going to go tomorrow if you die today?
Exactly. Yeah. So
I was raised, I mean, I went to Christian schools. I was raised Church of Christ, which is super religious as well.
Oh, yeah.
And so for me, because I'm still a Christian, Chase is not. So that's interesting. But it's been, I just have to like, I don't know. I feel like I had to like relearn things because it's so like ingrained in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly like what not to do. That you have to like, when you're out, mostly like for me in college, it was more of like, wait, well, what do I believe? And then it's even like more and more each year. It's like, okay, no, what do I believe? What is my relationship with God? It's hard.
Yeah, and then as that relates to motherhood and parenthood, listener, being able to kind of like, decide what you agree with, what you don't, and like make traditions of your own, which is something Bill and I really, really value.
Yeah.
Which is true for not, raising up in the Southern Christian church.
Yeah.
But yeah, across the board, I think that's something that's, exciting and something that we kind of look forward to. And yeah, we go to church and also really want our kid to like fantasy and magic stuff.
Yeah.
Like the fun stuff, not the crazy
So there's
stuff.
a lot of like juxtaposition and, it's just like how I feel about religion. It's so personal, like spirituality, but the hypocrisy in how you're supposed to live versus how you live.
That's Chase's hold up.
Is a lot for me. And I really want to teach her to be educated on everything.
Yeah.
And make her own decisions.
Exactly.
Because I think, especially now with everything that's happening in Israel and Palestine, I mean, essentially this is all about religion.
Yeah.
When it boils down to it, it's thousands of years of someone said this was a holy land. Yeah. And now we're all killing each other.
Yeah.
And it's been such an awful week, and so hard. And it's hard for me to respect organized religion in a lot of ways.
I hear
because
that.
of how
I hear that.
how horrifying it has become
100%.
and how weaponizing.
Yeah.
That's a struggle for me.
And I think there's a lot of good for a lot of people. For my family personally, like I want her to be proud of being culturally Jewish. Even though it's a really terrifying time to be Jewish, I want her to be proud. I want to remain educated and keep educating myself and my friends. And I want her to have kindness and empathy, because right now, every single night of this week, I have cried for the children and innocent citizens of Israel and Palestine. Yeah. I mean, honestly, even as a Jew, the footage that I'm seeing of Palestine is making me physically ill.
Yeah.
And it's just been revolting.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to get behind organized religion.
I
really
understand
is.
that.
Yep.
I believe that there's a God. I believe there's a higher power. I believe in energy. I don't think it dissipates.
Yeah.
Energy travels. Energy doesn't just disappear. So, and I believe in spirits. And I believe in fucking, if some witch doctor told me to do take the blood of a chicken and rub it all over, just the weird witch doctor shit. I also believe in that.
I would support you in that if you made that decision. Okay.
There's something like my grandmother, my Italian grandmother, Grace, used to douse,
the one that your tramp stamp is after.
Grace, my tramp stamp.
Cheers to Grace,
God
baby.
bless.
Never forget.
She used to take olive oil and heat it up and put lots of garlic and onion and some other shit and put Q-tips and clean out ears with it, and it cured earaches.
It's giving herbal queen.
I was going to say that.
Because she was off the boat Italian, and they had their own ways of doing
the
stuff.
original crunch. Yeah. I respect it.
I pour garlic oil in his ears when he has ear infection.
Yeah.
I respect it.
He's never been on. She's like, that's crunchy too.
That's crunchy.
Grace. I'm Team Grace.
Yeah.
Garlic oil in the ear.
And she,
Macy, should we go get tramp stamps that say Grace?
I'll get Grace tramp stamp.
Yes,
too.
honey.
Let's do it.
But there's a lot of stuff that I'm willing to believe in. I'm just not willing to live my life based on a story that was told thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago that no one can really attest to. That's basically like science fiction.
Well, there's just so many, and I kind of want to hear what your thought is on this too. There's so many different versions of the story now too, which is where denominations, that's what I struggle with. It's not so much religion in and of itself, but it's denomination. So like Church of Christ versus Nazarene or Baptist.
And I don't even understand
Methodist.
all of that. I don't know what they all mean.
Trevecca Nazarene University t-shirt.
I don't know what they all mean.
I think that
either.
to me is where religion, specifically speaking Christianity, gets dicey, just because it's like are we not all believing in the same God and the same thing, but we're like believing different.
Well, also,
you know what I mean?
look at like the Mormons and polyamory.
Yeah.
And choosing to basically believe in taking many wives that are underage because it suits you, and it's like the selective
that's a no.
the selective belief. It's like, I believe in this part of it because this allows me to fuck little kids, and I don't believe in this other part of it because I don't want to see gay people sleeping together.
I struggle
It
with
is
that part
so
as well.
selective.
Yeah.
And like, it's basically just, I feel like most religion is just misogynistic as fuck, and it's based on men doing things that they deem to be beneficial to them and pleasing to them. And whatever doesn't fit under that umbrella is devil's work.
No, yeah.
And it just seems to me that it really doesn't behoove. It's not good for women. It's not good for children. It's not good for gay people. Certainly not good for Jews. And it's all just seems a little bit too great for, in particular, straight men.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Hey, it's their world we're passing through.
Yeah.
Apparently so. Yeah, no, I struggle with that 100%. And I think it's hard for me to say, like, you're wrong or I disagree, because I've had a different upbringing and perspective on it growing up. And then, like, also like current state figuring that out. And I acknowledge that is definitely the lens that it is viewed through, or it's what has been put out there. It's not like you're perceiving it. No, it's like that's how it's been put out there.
And I understand, like, I think it's really attractive to be like part of something and like, and have like a family and a community. I think that's like a really attractive thing. And being a Jewish American kid that grew up where a lot of kids weren't Jewish. I mean, everywhere I go, there's like Jewish
pockets. Yeah.
But for the most part, there's not, because Jews are there's not very many of us.
Yeah.
But growing up like that, I think like it definitely, you grow up feeling like you're other than. And so you don't feel part of the community other than the tiny community that is Jewish. So I understand the desire to fit in, the desire that, it's cool to believe in God. It's cool to be religious if you're Christian. It's cool if you're Catholic. It's cool if you're one of the Protestant, it's cool if you're one of these like elite groups that are widely accepted as like the law. But it's like, it's not cool.
And then you're not. And then
if you're not. And
it's the hate
to
crimes.
me, that doesn't make sense with that isn't like cohesive with what God represents.
No. Yeah. It's not at all.
Isn't it supposed to be like all encompassing and all loving and all accepting?
Humans suck ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I mean, the issue.
Yeah.
And
and something that is supposed to be all inclusive and Jesus welcomes all, loves all, then it's confusing. It's like, well, what about homosexuals? What about?
And that's when propaganda began. Like, is Jesus a Jew? Is Jesus a Christian? And that's happening right now with Israel and Palestine. It's literally propaganda all day, every day on social media, and nobody knows what the fuck to believe, and nobody knows where the truth began. But the truth began with men fighting over religion.
Yeah.
Men fighting over land.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's in this country and that's in every other country. Men fighting over land. And claiming land based on religion.
What a trend we see with men fighting
and it's
over
just
land.
really like it's never done anything good for us. And who knows, if there was no religion, how chaotic would it be? There would be no, I don't know. Would it be better? Would it be worse? I don't know. But it is fucked up right now, and it's shitty. And like the people that are paying are children, and it is really fucking with me.
Yeah.
I'm unable to live a normal life.
Yeah.
Knowing that this is happening to people.
It's unbelievable. And then just like the then you have the people who want trigger warnings, and they want filters, and they want to, I'm just going to delete everything, just ignore. How, and I'm sure you've seen like this argument, but it's like, how nice that you would like deserve a trigger warning.
Yeah.
Or like you would get a warning, or you would get a filter.
Yeah. What a luxury.
Yeah.
Like,
What a luxury to turn it off for a day.
Right. And I get that it's hard. Like I did set a boundary with Bill and ask him not to bring up the dying children when I'm laying in bed half asleep trying to go to sleep.
Right.
Yeah.
After, viewing it all day. But, like what a privilege to get to view it from thousands of miles away on our phone
at
safe
our
in
discretion.
Home.
Yeah.
And have the choice to turn it off.
And that's the problem that I've had with it, is like I don't feel comfortable turning it off and looking away. But at the same time, I talked to Nick last night because I was hysterically crying last night because I cannot breathe thinking about what's happening in both Israel and Palestine. And I've educated myself, I think, more than a lot of people, but I'm still nowhere near a fucking historian. And the history runs so deep. But, I had a fight with my husband because when the terrorist attacks happened in Israel, he was one of those people that immediately said to me, it's so complicated, because he's a history guy.
Yeah.
And he understands the 75-year history in Palestine. And he understands what's been going on. And I get that. But I said to him, I was like, was 9/11 complicated? There was a lot of history behind that. There was a lot of history that led them to bomb the shit out of us.
Yeah.
But was that complicated? No, it was awful.
Yeah.
So why, when it's happening to Jewish people, is it complicated?
Yep.
And now what's happening with Israel bombing the shit out of Palestine. Yes, that is fucked up and terrible and complicated. The history runs really, really deep. But what's not complicated is that it's fucking horrible. And I think that what Jewish people really wanted at that moment was just to say that this is a global terrorist attack, and this is unfathomable and revolting and not okay.
Yeah.
And that's not what we got.
On any level.
Yeah.
And so I think even in my own home, I just felt like, why can't I grieve right now for the woman that I just saw paraded around the streets naked and spit on after she'd been raped by every terrorist on that truck? By the babies that are being beheaded, which that is true. That's not propaganda.
Yeah, people are.
So but what's also fucking with me is that it's really happening in Palestine on a genocidal level.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is an ethnic cleansing that we've never seen in our history of being alive. And so, it's fucking complicated. But to have a child in the world like this is extremely hard.
Extremely.
And I wrote this in my post, but I honestly feel like every child is my child. I sat up last night watching videos of Palestine, and I watched a mother holding her 2 dead children. And I couldn't breathe. And I told Nick, and Nick came and got me, and he's like, "You're not helping anyone by doing this to yourself." I said, "But how dare I look away?
When it could have been you.
How dare I fucking look away?" So I'm trying to struggle with I guess Pete Davidson did this really great SNL skit. I don't know if you guys saw it. I haven't seen it yet, but he started it by saying, my dad was killed in 9/11.
Oh,
And which is true.
I didn't know that.
And his mother hadn't seen him laugh in months and months. And the first time she saw him laugh was when he was watching Delirious by Eddie Murphy? Yeah. Anyway, he was laughing hysterically, and his mom was like, "This is so inappropriate, such an inappropriate comedy for you to be watching, but you're smiling." And I think people need the permission to smile, and people need permission to laugh and go on with their lives, even though this is happening. I'm just not ready for that yet.
No.
You know?
I'm yeah, I completely get that. And it's like, we can be, I feel like our group of friends is like, okay, well, yeah, a lot of the men who are really into the history of it will try to put like a logic behind, or, you know, one of those explanations. But fortunately, I feel like, you know, we have a good grip on things for the most part. Not that we're never wrong, because of course we are,
Yeah,
but
of course.
like, Amy has still, like, I feel like I've been learning from Amy during this experience. And like, that's a burden that you shouldn't have to bear either.
Yeah.
Of like, no one should, of like, you know, like, I obviously had like the mom aspect of it, and like obviously know that you're Jewish.
Yeah.
And all that. And like, you were on my mind. And then like the other day you were like, oh, hey, like, I'm actually staying home today, or like staying in. And I was like,
I didn't feel like I could go out on Friday. I was scared.
I didn't even like have a pulse on that fully.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I mean, this is freaking raw motherhood too.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's real.
the relation, and it's like this invisible string you have with these women.
Yeah.
And then
when
also the other moms you're around. Yeah.
And when you're part of like, you know, Jews are notoriously liberal.
Yeah.
And we are notoriously like marching and donating and vocally backing any persecuted people. I mean, any of them. Not only because we give a fuck, but because we understand what it's like. And I'm not interested in making this about me, because I fucking hate when people do that. You know, those people that like someone dies and all of a sudden they're like posting like their best friends. It's like, you met that person once.
Yeah.
Oh, so now we're mourning for you?
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is not about me, but I can shed some light on knowing what it's like to feel like an outsider.
Yeah.
And
that's things that we,
Right.
sorry I'm speaking for you, but we miss.
Right.
yeah.
In this.
Oh, I mean, when I heard the boy in school say, I can't believe I kissed a kike.
Yeah.
After me and another girl were in Spin the Bottle, I never wanted to go to school again.
Yeah.
You know, I remember just so many Jew jokes. I talked to my brother-in-law a couple of years ago because he made a Jew joke, and I said, that shit's not fucking funny.
Don't do it.
It's not funny. And so I think it's just been socially acceptable to make fun of Jewish people, but at the same time, like, this is not just a Jewish thing.
No.
This is, that entire part of the world is suffering on a level that we
can't fathom.
no fucking idea about.
Fathom.
So when I was crying to Nick, I was just like, I don't know what to do with these feelings. I don't know how to go on and live a normal life when I am like, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And he's like, babe, unfortunately, you do not have a global impact. And I was like, that's true. He's like, you don't have a global impact. You're not a politician. You're not a humongous famous person, that you're tormenting yourself and it's not helping anybody. He's like, so what can we do that's going to make you feel like you're doing more within your community? Because that's the only thing that you can reach.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. And, you know, I already donate to all of the St. Jude's. I give to gun control. I give to everything that I can think of. I'm in all the women's marches.
You educate your friends.
I educate my friends. I am constantly trying to like do something, but I told my husband, and you guys know this, like, I want to foster children.
Yeah.
I am not a rich person that can just like pick a kid and adopt them on the spot and be like, here's 30 grand.
Because you would have 20 by now.
Yeah. This state that we're in, Tennessee, needs people. Like, if I went to Palestine right now, I'd come back with 10 kids.
Yeah.
But they're right here. And I said, babe, I need you to really take me seriously. I know that we have a lot of love to give. And I have friends that grew up with not 2 pennies to fucking push together, and they had a great childhood.
Yeah.
We could foster children. It will teach, if things go wrong, there is a lesson to be learned, but we're still doing something good. It will teach our child empathy, kindness, hard work. It will give me more of a purpose than I have, which I feel like I deeply need.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with just with writing pop songs for a living.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with it. I have to do more. And so he was like, okay, we'll talk about it. But financially, I said, babe, they give you money. They give you the money for schooling.
You're actually going to be the good foster parents.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want the money. We want to provide.
Exactly.
What more would it take to drive another kid to school or to take care of a child at home? Like, I know it's not for everyone, but I think it's for me.
Yep.
And like, there aren't a lot of people that can say that.
no.
No.
That's why whenever you talk about that or adoption, I say like, I firmly, and I've always felt this way, if you feel called to foster and or adopt, then you need to act. If you can, then you need to act on it, because speaking myself included, not everybody does feel that way.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that harshly.
No,
I've
it's
never
real.
had a calling to foster. I've never felt a desire to adopt. And which in my head tells me there is a need for that. Because if I feel that way, millions of other people feel that way. So the people that do have that calling or that desire to foster or adopt, if you can, do it, because
You don't
there's
need
a
to be
need.
rich. We're not rich, but we're comfortable.
Yeah.
And like, all I need to do is buy a couple less fucking dumbass face serums.
Yeah.
And we can have
like, I've-
3 fucking kids.
I've got a few areas I can cut back on.
But like, I am in the studio with the hours that I create. I can do this.
Yeah.
And if it proves to be something detrimental to my family, we can stop doing it.
Yeah.
But I really feel like in my heart that I have this to give, and it's right here.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think I can go on with the world being the way it is, knowing that I have this to give and not doing it. And like, he was like, okay, we'll talk about it. But I feel like he's just kind of brushing me aside.
And
I get that it's
don't take
uncomfortable
no
for
an
him.
answer. I can see it in your eyes. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah.
And I know you.
Yeah.
I can make a
could
difference
get it.
in children's lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know how else to do it. I don't know how else to make a difference other than writing music that makes people happy and being like, because, okay, so say you don't end up adopting them, they go back to their family and their parents are sober. Or there's a safe environment for them.
system,
And you provided a place. Nick is like, well, we just
safety
can't
and
right
love.
now. You know, I look at these videos of these children overseas and they literally are not safe. They're not fed. There is not a roof over their head. They are shaking and fucking traumatized in the middle of a
it's not
hospital
their
because
fault.
there's no beds and it's not their fault.
Yeah.
If you take in a child that is in a traumatic situation, a roof, some food, and just knowing that you're not going to hurt them is so much more than they have right now.
Yeah.
And Nick and Amy, talk about safe people.
Yeah. God.
Talk
yeah.
about safe people.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well,
And
you were
like,
just saying you want to be able to make an impact in a child's lives. Like, I can speak for both Morgan and me. Like, you've made an
I was
impact
gonna
on.
say the same thing.
Yeah. Like, you've made, and like, it makes me emotional to think you've made an impact on my kid.
I
Like,
love
a big
you.
impact.
I love you. And I love your kids. Like, they're my own, you know? And like,
Yeah.
I really feel now that I really know that like I'm turning 41, it's probably not going to happen for me for a second kid. That's okay.
Maybe this is the reason.
I think that I can do this. I think I can really help
I think so too.
and not necessarily carry, you know, but I don't feel like you have to carry a kid to love a kid.
Yeah.
No, and we would love that kid.
Yeah. Oh
Or
my
to
God.
provide a
Yeah.
safe place.
Yeah.
And we can have boundaries. We can have ground rules. We can say they can't be past a certain age. If it's a boy, it has to be younger than Farah. If it's, you know,
Ooh, yeah.
certain things
Yeah.
that are really important for
Yeah.
her
Yep.
safety.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can put parameters on it. But like, I really want him to like come around because I really feel that there's like, that I have to do something more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want to make this whole episode about me and my plight.
This is not, no. This,
But like, I
don't
just
think
feel
it's
like
that
there
way at
is
all.
something like inside of me that I cannot rest when this is happening to people.
This is momhood. Even people who don't have a kid yet or are not yet a mom. And like, I've known people who go this route first before trying for their own like, biological kids. And like, that's the pull of motherhood. That's an intuition and like a biological nurturing, you know, and the same as people who like aren't that way and don't want kids.
And that's fine. People that don't want them should not.
Yeah, we say that all the time.
It takes
we will
everything.
say that until we're blue in the face.
I respect
And it's
a
okay.
woman
If you don't want a kid, then good for you. It's fucking
know,
hard. If you don't want one.
Honestly, when I talk to women that I know that just don't want kids and they're very open, I respect that so much.
Totally.
Because it's so like hard to say that as a woman.
Yeah.
But if you know that about yourself, it's such a deep, and you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And same thing, like, people who choose to never have their own kids and just adopt or foster, or can't have their own kids and just adopt and foster, or just have biological children.
Yeah.
And that's all they want. Like, but I mean, there's a need out there for all of it.
Yeah.
And Amy, like, this, I feel a lot of the same way about the kids who are here and, this state or, in this country. Obviously, if I, could do, like, there are people here in this community, and like, circling back to the beginning too, is like, I don't even know how to say this, is like separating from like the shittiness of the people who are part of the people who got organized religion wrong, right?
Yeah.
For me, I'm lucky enough that that's separated from God, and separated from like the church I currently go to. I'm fortunate enough to say that. But like, this is like what people think that they are, and then they're not. And like, you don't even like go like, like, oh, the big like Christian like nationalism movement and all this stuff, like, you're like so detached from that, like belief wise and like religion wise.
Yeah.
And like, this is spirituality to me too.
Yeah.
Is like being a good person, having a loving heart, having open arms and an open heart and acceptance. Yeah. That's what it's about.
Yeah. I agree.
No matter what you call it,
just
in
like
my
wanting
opinion.
to like give someone
Exactly.
a safe place.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, I feel like just, mothers and, or nurturing people in whatever capacity that is like, that's spiritual. And like, that's connection.
It can change someone's life.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there are kids that like had nobody and then one teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they become the most amazing people in the world that we know about.
Or one coach.
One teacher, one person that said like, you can do this.
Yeah.
And like Nick and I believe that you can be whoever you want to be, and we don't judge anybody. So it's like any kid we took in. I don't care who you want to be. But like, I just feel like I can't have these feelings and not do something.
Yeah.
We will support you every single
Nick has
step
your back
of the way.
Yeah.
Nick loves you and knows your heart.
He's definitely not on board with it right now. He's going to be listening to this like, you
not
asshole.
that it's
He's going to be so mad.
No,
but like,
I mean, whatever.
I've talked to him about it so much and he never gives me the,
This is also
never
an outlet
gives
for
me
you
that.
to talk. So,
But okay, devil's advocate though. Well, first of all, let's just all say we all know Nick's heart, and
he's the best.
Nick is the best.
He's the
and
most
we
loving
love-
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that being said, like whether he's able to admit it, he's going to listen to this. Love you, Nick. Whether he's able to admit it about himself or not, his heart is not only big enough, but like plenty big enough to be able to do this for a kid. And what I was going to say though is devil's advocate coming from somebody who, I feel so harsh when I say this, but I've never had the like itch or drive or whatever to adopt.
Most people.
Yeah. I don't mean that harshly, but it's just the truth. Coming from somebody who has felt that way, maybe he has grown up, and I can't speak for him. You would know this better than me. Maybe he has grown up feeling that same way too. So it just may be a lot for him to get on board and think like, okay, can I like reframe my mind of like, my whole life I've thought I wasn't going to adopt or foster, but like my wife deeply wants to. It just may take him some time to come around to that and be open to it. And he'd be
he's more politically active than I am.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to Black lives and like and the BLM movement, like that is my husband's plight. My husband is so much for the persecuted people. And that goes for anyone. He is the most, he is just a caring fucking
Nick's
person.
got a really big heart.
And he's also educated as fuck. And so I know that he's the perfect person
Yeah.
to raise probably not white kids
Yeah. Yeah.
in our home
He'd be great.
that
Y'all both would
really
be.
in the South need a figure that is like a badass, you know? And I just feel like he doesn't even know it's in him. And we just like, I feel like we all grow up having these paths, and mine was always music. I was going to be a famous singer. That's it. Nothing else. Anytime anything came in between me and that, it was fucking put to the side. And I've done a lot of cool shit, but I'm not a famous singer. I'm a semi-successful songwriter who's sang with a lot of famous people and done a lot of cool tours, but I'm not famous. And I'm not someone that wants to be famous anymore.
Yeah.
I want to be successful and rich because I want to provide things for my family and I want to have a fun and good life.
Yeah.
You want purpose.
I
too.
want,
Yeah.
but now when I write, I don't write with people that I don't believe in, and I don't write for things that I don't care about, you know, unless I'm getting paid a lot, and then I do.
Yeah.
But
Respect.
hello. But I am someone that wants to like die and know that I did stuff that mattered. And I don't know how else to do it other than like, I think I'm a pretty fucking badass mom.
You're a great mom.
And like, it really makes me feel happy to know that, even when it's hard.
Yeah.
And I think that I can do it for more than just her.
Yeah, I think so too.
I feel like I'd be doing the world a disservice if I didn't mom more people,
Yeah.
Find yourself.
you know?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I really do. I agree.
completely agree.
I mean, that's why I got
And I don't-
emotional talking about the
I
impact
don't
you've
think
made
I'm
on
going to
your guys'
have
life.
more myself. I don't. And so I've tried really hard. I don't think it's happening, and that's fine. And honestly, I'd love to continue to drink wine.
Yeah.
But I think I can mom more people without them coming out of my
100%.
Yeah.
hoo-ha.
100%. Sure you can.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And
we'll
yeah,
see. I'll take you guys on this journey. I kind of like put the kibosh on IVF because I feel pretty strongly that being someone that suffers really badly from depression and anxiety, it's not the right move for my family. And that was a really hard decision for me and something that was really painful for me. But thinking a lot about it and talking to my doctor, it was something that I feel like I'm not equipped for and that would probably really hurt my family. So knowing that, I think that's why this kind of has come up so hardcore. Is that it's like, I don't feel that my family's done.
Yeah.
But I think I'm probably done making them. So
And you felt that way since I've known you.
I was
Just that
trying.
You
yeah.
don't feel like Fair is an only child.
I don't
you
feel like
wanna
Farrah
do
is an only
more,
child.
yeah.
I don't.
Yep.
I don't feel that. I wish that I could say that, you know, that I feel that. I just don't.
Oh, and oh my gosh, I just imagine y'all fostering or adopting a little baby.
I know.
Or a toddler.
Or a
Yeah.
toddler.
Honestly, like I
Any
don't
of it?
care. I think
yeah,
the
everyone wants a
parameters
baby,
would be.
right? Yeah.
I think the parameters would be her age or younger,
Yeah.
so I could send them to school with her, or a different Mother's Day out or whatever. But somewhere where she's in the driver's seat, where she doesn't feel or is in danger.
Yeah.
Because you know you have to go to trauma. You have to do trauma work.
Yeah.
So I already reached out to Stepping Stones.
Oh, did
Tennessee.
you?
Yeah, Nick doesn't know it, but now he does.
This will air in
A few weeks. No, but just I'm not gonna do anything. Obviously, it takes two, but I wanted to just like do my research. You know, I would put out the parameters of like, you know, she would have to be either the older one or it would be a girl
Yeah.
or both.
Respect that, yeah.
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 Yeah, and I mean that's awesome. And yeah, you've got some time to tell Nick that you reached out. But yeah. No,
Yeah, give it a few weeks.
Couple weeks.
No, honestly, it's great though. It's really awesome, Amy. And I've been on I was going to say a kick, but it hasn't gone away. So I think it's just a deep desire is what you would call that. If you know about CASA, the like court appointed advocates.
No,
I don't either.
It's like
I don't
volunteer. It's completely volunteer. And you like go through this entire training and you are assigned like a kid in, I think it's in the foster system. I think it can vary. And you get to know their case really well. I think you can like take them out for something, fun, like to like an event like once a month or something like that, just you and them. And as their case moves along, you're responsible for determining the best and safest place for them to go, whether that be a grandparent, back to their parents or anything like that. And that's something that I've been trying to do since 2017.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, originally it didn't work with my work schedule, the training. And then COVID happened and I was like, okay, like more virtual. And then I got pregnant and then I went to do it again. And then I got pregnant again.
Yeah.
So once I'm done having
Well, they
kids,
require
it's like,
you to do trauma work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've got to go through.
And to be a
an
foster
entire
parent,
thing.
you have to go through trauma training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of what the
As you
kids
should.
mostly
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
through.
They're not in it for the fun of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
I have one of my like OG subscribers. Her name's Olivia. I think she listens. If so, love you.
Is it Noel? Olivia Noel
yes.
or Noel?
Holt is her last name. You would recognize her.
Yeah.
Livy.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. She's cool.
She's wonderful. She now has 2 baby girls of her own, and then she fostered, or I can't even remember the backstory, but there's, I guess, adopted her oldest, who is just a few months older. He's a few months older than her oldest birth child. And she's told me, I just know her through talking, being a subscriber and through Instagram. And we've known each other for, like over 2 years now, but it's hard. And there are still things that they deal with him, and I guess the trauma. And I don't know enough, and I wouldn't share if I knew enough news, because it's not my family. It's not my place to tell. But I do know from she's the only person that I know who has a situation similar enough to that I can like relate to. But I know that it's been like, they're still doing the work. Yeah. And he's been living with them for years. Yeah. And so it's a lot of work for the whole family.
Yeah.
I would say, like, listeners, if you are in the process of fostering or adopting, right?
Yeah,
or like
reach out to us.
it,
Yeah, we'd love to hear stories.
And like, would love to hear that insight, and maybe chat, online or offline. I think that could be super interesting.
Yeah, we would love to talk to you about it.
Especially for Amy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Especially like if you, I think Liv listens, but
yeah, because like we can share our like unique experiences, the 3 of us here, but none of us have done that. There's always something that we don't have experience with,
right?
And also, I say all the CASA stuff, not to my own horn. I'm saying I was gonna circle it back to like, I would challenge us in this room and everyone in my house, which there are a few of us here, and y'all moms, like, I know it's hard, and it's so hard to kind of get out of your routine and get out of your own family and head sometimes, but like, I guess just like a kind challenge to like think about it and give it some thought. And I'm not saying you have to go adopt a child.
Do you have more love to give?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm saying like, like anything in your community that can make a difference. I would say like, it's only worth it for you. It's definitely worth it for the people that you're going to have an impact on, whether that's adoption, whether that's freaking like volunteering at a library reading, or like having some sort of impact. Like, it's invaluable. It doesn't have to be something expensive. It doesn't have to be something life altering for you, for it to be life altering for somebody else. Yep. And that's a way that you can kind of, step out and make a difference. Yeah. And then also, I'm not Google, so also research, what you can do for the people.
The site that I've been on is called Stepping Stone. Yeah. And basically whether you end up adopting or not, it's a stepping stone. Like you take care of a kid while they're looking for their forever home.
Yeah.
Or while their parents are getting sober.
Yeah.
Or while the situation at home is getting better.
So stepping stone,
So
sweet.
Stepping Stone is the place that's in, I think they're in Kentucky, but they work with Tennessee as well. But that's what it is. It's literally being like a temporary home for babies or children that are needing a place that's not a fucking, I don't know what these places are like, but I'm sure it's not great.
Right.
Needing a home in the interim where when their parents are either in rehab or in jail or died or something happened where they can't be home and either the relatives are trying to get it together or they're waiting for their adoptive parents to be ready. It's called Stepping Stone. And sometimes it can lead to adoption, many times, but many times it doesn't. So you also have to be prepared for that, to love a kid and then give them back, which I think that's Nick's main part that he's not okay
That's
with,
understandable.
which I get.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, we probably, what has this been, an hour? What the fuck?
No, not an hour. We're at 46 minutes.
Okay.
With the singing included.
With the singing.
No, but I love y'all and I love talking to y'all.
I love you guys
and
too.
It's just,
Thank you for supporting me.
Of course. Well, and we benefit from even like, y'all didn't even come in here with a plan. We just kind of started.
I know. This started from us singing This Is Halloween.
Yeah.
This is Halloween because, shit is spooky out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really, just not to make light. I mean, it's freaking scary.
Yeah. It's scary out there.
Yeah, very scary. And so I'm just inspired to even be able to sit and have a conversation about this.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
I love y'all.
We love you.
We do.
Yeah.
Can we end on like a happy note and do
Let's end on
a question from
Question
thank
from
you
the
for
listeners.
reminding me. Yeah, thank you for doing that, Macy. Let's see.
We'll end on a happy note.
What do you want to know?
All right. Okay. What is something you vowed never, ever to do as a parent, but you ended up doing it?
Such a good question. I mean, my immediate answer is, I guess, screen time. Yeah, actually, a few things came to mind.
Me too.
But my immediate answer is screen time, like at a restaurant or like out in public. So much judgment before becoming a parent. But then you become a parent and you realize like, literally sometimes the only way you will get through a meal
is to give them your phone
without being kicked out of the restaurant is to that's the first one that comes to mind for me.
Mine is spanking. I never spank my kid anymore. We've stopped because we realized that when I hit her on the butt after she's hit me, that just teaches her that when you hit, you get hit, and there's no fucking sense in that. But I spanked Farrah probably 3 times in her life. Not like a legit, but like a couple whaps on the butt after she's like ripped my face off or hit me, because she hits me all the time.
It took a lot for you to get there. Let's be clear.
Oh, it took a lot for me to get there. But I was always complete, because I got spanked and I got the belt. And it wasn't, honestly, like, to be very real, it wasn't traumatizing for me at all.
No, me
We
either.
actually laughed at my dad when he was doing it. But that's because I didn't have abusive parents.
Yeah.
I think if you're abused, it's a very different
That's
story, and you have a very different feeling about it. My parents weren't abusive. They made their mistakes, but they were not abusive. So when we got spanked or the belt from my dad, it was almost funny.
Yeah.
When I've spanked Farrah, it's been on 3 different occasions when she has really abused me or hit another kid really hard or bitten someone, and I'm like, whap.
Yeah.
And it worked at the time. It was like she starts crying and she's scared.
Yeah.
But it didn't work in teaching her a lesson, because it taught her that mommy loses control and she hits.
Long term.
And Farrah is still hitting, to be very, very clear. If I tell Farrah no, she runs across the room waving hands. But she's learning that mommy doesn't hit back.
That's so crazy. Your 2-year-old hits. Oh,
Yeah.
how embarrassing.
I take
what are you doing
I take her
wrong?
little hands and I'm like, we don't hit. And Nick does the same thing. We never hit her back.
Yeah.
But I never thought I would lay a finger on my kid, but I have spanked her.
Yeah. We have, E's been 3 times too. And
Yeah.
one of those times for both of us was on the same night.
The same night. They were so bad.
They were horrible.
They were so bad.
They literally were.
They were beating
fighting each
the
other.
shit out of each other, and we were like, "What the fuck?
Well, there was.
want to join
yeah, we want to beat you too."
We were walking, or E was walking up the stairs, and Farrah comes up from like the second stair. He's on the 4th and grabs his head and goes
pulls
on the
his hair.
stair. And Amy was like, "No!" And then later on, upstairs,
He kicked her in the face.
The same night, they're on the couch, and he literally just goes
He kicked her in the face.
at her head.
Yeah.
And Chase was like, "No!"
And Chase spanked her, spanked him. Yeah,
So like
Can't do
those
that.
times, yeah, it happened. In
and
the same
I've
night.
spanked her. Yeah, it's been three times in
Yeah.
her life, and still, like
Same
I
with
always
you.
say, everyone that walks in the house, she goes, "Mommy hit my butt."
She still does.
I'm like, Farrah Grace.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? And heart bit my face. I'm like, heart bit your face
bit
2
my
months
cheek.
ago. Eli pulled my hair. I'm like, Eli pulled your hair 3 months ago.
Right.
Like, why are we still talking about it? But she remembers
She never
everything
forgets,
that's ever been done
She
dirty
loves a
to
good
her.
story to tell. She loves to stir some shit up.
But yeah, I never thought I would hit my kid. I never thought I would do screen time the way I do, which is whenever I need it. What else? I never thought I'd let my kid drink coffee. She takes sips of my coffee every single day.
Oh yeah, we went to Dose today, and he had a sip of my latte. Not a sip.
It goes Farrah coffee.
Several sips.
Yeah, lots of sips.
Yeah.
Ditto on that one.
I never
Yeah.
thought I would give my kid multiple packs of fucking fruit snacks just to shut her up.
Listen, everybody's a judge or a jury. This is what you always say.
Yep.
Everybody's a judge or, well, let me
Everyone's
rephrase
a
it.
fucking
And
judge
I was
or
gonna say-
jury.
I was gonna say,
Everybody's
let me
a
rephrase
fucking
it.
judge or jury till they have a kid.
I was gonna add fucking, because if I'm gonna be
If you're
saying
gonna
it
be
how you-
me.
everyone's a fucking judge or a jury until you have a kid. And
Yeah.
it's true.
It's true.
We all do it. We
so
all, I mean, we
yeah.
literally all do it.
Oh yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. We
Yeah,
love you. This
we
is
do
Rock
love
Me
y'all.
Mama. Bye.
Rock me, mama.